Hi everyone, Miss Jessica here. I am here to continue our mindfulness lessons. Now, most of you have had mindfulness with me at some point this year, but given that we will be working from home for the next little bit to finish out our school year, I thought it might be helpful if I come and give a little refresher, because as we're at home, it's very natural to feel lots of different emotions. Obviously, we're missing friends, we're missing the school life that we've gotten so used to. But when we use mindfulness, meaning we learn to pay attention to how we're feeling in the present moment and we take care of our feelings, we're better able to rise to our challenges and rise to seeing the beauty in new experiences. So, first things first, I want you to remember that we've talked about emotions and feelings and how they're all valid and they're all very important. So, if you've had some emotions during this school dismissal, closure, just know that they're normal and they're okay. I bet we've all felt feelings of happiness, of laziness, of excitement that we don't have to roll out of bed and get to school every morning. But we've probably also maybe felt a little anxiety, nervousness. It might be hard to feel a little bit motivated when we don't have our normal routines and schedules. We also might be feeling sad, not getting to connect with our friends on that daily basis that we've gotten so used to. You might feel a little anxious or fearful. All of those emotions are okay. But the beautiful thing is that we know that emotions are like waves. They come and they go, and they're not going to remain with us forever. So if we can learn how to really ride the waves of the emotion rather than letting them crash into us and let them take over us, well, the better off that we're going to be. So I think mindfulness is one of the best ways that we can learn to surf the waves of those various emotions that we're feeling during this time and really throughout our lives completely. Mindfulness is something that's so helpful for preschool kids all the way up to 99 years old. You can always find benefit of mindfulness because remember, mindfulness is really just about tapping in to what we're noticing and what we're feeling and what we're thinking. And rather than judging the experience, we just learn how to take care of those thoughts and those feelings. So I wanted to give a little quick update and reminder lesson before I start putting in maybe more activities that we can be doing of just the parts of the brain. Now, I know that it's a little bit fuzzy and a little bit hard to see here, but I want us to remember those three parts of the brain because they're really, really important when it comes to really recognizing what's happening inside of us when we're having those thoughts, when we're having those feelings. And so that first part or the first section of our brain that we've talked about is that part of the brain that's behind our forehead. And it's a really large part of our brain called the prefrontal cortex is that little beginning part, but also the cortex is a larger part of our body. Now that prefrontal cortex is the part of our brain that is our decision-making brain. So when we're deciding what we want to eat for lunch, or we're trying to problem solve a math question, and we're using all those tools that we've learned before, and we're really analyzing and deciding what we want to do, that's really coming through with your prefrontal cortex. So that's an incredibly part of our brain, and I like to call it, remember, our wise owl brain, hence the owl here, right? We want this part of the brain to be the leader, to really be what's in control at all times. It really needs to be the part of the brain that's letting all of the brain work together and make the very best decisions that it can. Now, remember, we have another part of the brain, and they're actually just right there. They're actually a cluster of neurons inside the middle of our brain. It's highlighted in pink here. Hopefully you can see. Now, it's not really pink and blue and green in your brain. It's just highlighted here so that you can remember where the parts of the brain are located. That's called our amygdala. I'll say it again, amygdala. That part of our brain is really the command and control center of our emotions. So for example, if you're feeling frightened or upset, your amygdala becomes on alert. I like to call it, hopefully you can see even the glare, the guard dog brain. So that's the part of the brain, I'm sure if you have a dog or your neighbors have a dog, you know that your dog thinks its sole purpose in life is to protect you. And so if it ever senses danger, what does it do? It starts barking. So I like to call that middle part of our brain that controls the emotions the guard dog brain, because that part of the brain's sole purpose is to keep you safe. And so if it senses danger, it reacts. And that's really, really great if, say, you're walking in the woods and all of a sudden a bear pops out at you. What are you going to do? You're not going to sit there and use the wise owl part of your brain where you're like, is that a brown bear or a black bear? How big do you think it is? Not important in that scenario, right? Instead, the guard dog part of your brain immediately reacts and says, danger. And you choose to do one of three things: fight, flight, which means run away, or freeze. That's what your guard dog brain tends to want to do. Awesome when you're in danger, right? Because it's going to have you, oh, it went down. It's going to have you make the very best decision in a very short amount of time, because it takes your brain a little bit longer to send information to your wise owl brain. And really, you don't have that kind of time when you're in a dangerous situation. So that's why your guard dog brain really is so important. The third part of your brain, and we'll get back to the guard dog brain in a minute, but I want to make sure to share the third part of our brain. Hopefully you can kind of see this is a hippo, because that is called the hippocampus. I like to call that, remember, our memory saver brain, because that's where you store all your important memories. Not just like what you got for your birthday last year, but also like what is 2 times 2? Really, anything that gets stored as information, it's like a file cabinet for your brain. Any information that gets stored inside your brain goes into that memory saver to be retained for later, so that you can pull that information out when you need it. Say, like on a math test, you pull out the information that you've learned before in order to solve the problems. Your memory saver brain, though, also remembers how you tend to react to things. So if you're someone who tends to want to fight, if that's physical fighting, or at least yelling or screaming or getting really mad in a situation, that's actually your memory saver kind of like remembering that's your reaction. Some people could enter the exact same stressful situation. Instead of wanting to fight, they want to run away. Or they might freeze up and not be able to come up with things. It's almost like that brain freeze that you've maybe had before in a stressful situation. So your memory saver actually helps remember how you tend to react with that guard dog brain of yours. Now remember, you may have remembered the fist that I've taught you, which is like a hand model of the brain. So this is our wise old owl brain, that smart thinking brain. Here's your guard dog brain tucked in there, and here's your memory saver brain. Now, what happens when your guard dog brain starts barking in a real dangerous situation? Your wise owl flies away, and your memory saver stops working. And really, that is because your brain thinks it needs to have all of its power going towards the guard dog brain, that really this needs to be the whole focus. Your wise owl is not important in a dangerous situation, and really the memory saver isn't going to know how to help you that quickly in a situation. So your guard dog brain really takes over your brain. Again, really important in a really dangerous situation. The problem is our brains are so hardwired to want to protect themselves that sometimes we tend to use our guard dog brain in scenarios where it's not really important. For example, on a math test, your brain is working as it should. Your memory saver is talking to your prefrontal cortex. Your prefrontal cortex is telling your amygdala it's in control. And then before you know it, you get onto a test question that you don't know. And all of a sudden your palms get sweaty, your heart starts racing, you start panicking, you start thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail the test. I don't know this question. Well, before you know it, you may flip your lid. That wise owl stops working like it's supposed to, which really you need that wise owl when you're taking a test, right? That's the problem-solving part of your brain. You need the memory saver on that test because that's where it's stored all the important memories. But before you know it, the guard dog has taken control, and these two parts of your brain are not working like they should. Not good, right? So the biggest thing about mindfulness is being able to teach the three parts of your brain to be working together like they should. And when you use mindfulness, what you're doing is you're reminding yourself you're safe, you're okay, you know what you can do to help yourself feel better. Take those breaks, take that breath, tell yourself, I'm going to be okay, that positive self-talk to get you through those stressful situations. So those are the three parts of the brain that I really wanted to remind you about this week. I have a great presentation that I can also share with your teachers that can share with you on your Google Classroom if you need a little refresher course. There's also lots of fantastic YouTube videos, so I can share those with you as well. The biggest thing is knowing that maybe right now, with everything that's going on, that guard dog brain has been taking over control more than you'd like. Guess what? Spoiler alert, it's been happening to me too. I have felt way more emotions in these past few weeks than I have in a really long time, because this is a really unique and slightly stressful experience for all of us. So really, mindfulness, doing it every single day, has made a really, really big difference for me. I actually schedule it into my day. For me personally, it's putting it on my phone as a reminder so that I remember how to do it. For you, maybe it's scheduling it in your lesson plans for the day, where really you just stop, you breathe, you take a break, you do a couple mindfulness exercises that I will be sharing with you. So I really challenge you for the next few weeks while you're doing this distance learning to be practicing mindfulness and just notice how maybe taking that time to take care of your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings will actually help you be better equipped to respond to the situations that are slightly unknown or uncertain. So that's my lesson for today. Thinking of you all, missing you all so much. Please know that I'm available to talk to you if you ever need help. My email address I can share with your teachers to then pass on to you, but JJ Mertlich, okay? Mertlich, okay? And so we will be able to support you in any way that we can, okay? We're missing you.